I'm Cyclone. At first thing, I do want to apologize for the big silence again. I didn't have that much time to play. I was still working most of the day. And then there was some real life stuff I had to take care of, so wasn't the most played league so far. And on top of that, wasn't the luckiest league or the best leagues that I had so far. My strategy didn't work out perfectly, as well as I had some real life stuff I had to do in between. So overall, not the most played, not the best league I've had, but still, here I finally am. I am now on my character in a state where this can run T16 very smoothly, very quickly, very nicely, I guess. But yeah, this character is a lot of fun, and I did wanted to share the changes that I did to the character, the adjustments that I did based on how the league went compared to my league starter, as well as end on some potential future upgrades, and then on a map display to show how it currently works. Alright, let's take a look at the character. The first notable change is that I'm either using Wilmar's Requital or the Gull. Instead, I'm using the Vertex. I've decided, or well, I didn't decide. Wilmar's was very expensive. The Gull wasn't expensive, but the not Divination Distillate, the Sorrow of the Divine, the replica version of it that gives Eldritch Battery, was fairly expensive at League Start as well. And I've been looking for alternatives, and the best alternative I was able to find is using a combination of reduced mana cost and minus mana cost to have your mana sustain your skills without needing a mana flask. So what we can use is the Vertex to get 50% socketed gem reduced mana cost, then using a flask with the 25%, and using the life mastery to convert 30% of mana cost to life cost, which for us basically is free, because keep in mind that our life flask recovers all our life instantly, basically. If I use this and use the life flask, it's instantly full again, and it's still sustaining, enduring, so we're good to go on that. So we now have an additional aura. You can use haste, you can use determination. I prefer haste because faster, better map clear, and we don't really need the armor with having the petrified blood and life regen from the life flask. It gives us enough survivability. We do, however, still need grace, which we come to why in a bit, or you can see it when I open my inventory. But regardless, so we have that set up for the mana cost for the divine aura, and to get our other skills down, we are using a minus mana cost on our rings, to then have a fairly cheap Toxic Rain Totem and Caustic Arrow. Now I do need to mention that it isn't perfect yet. I still need a bit more cost reduction or flat minus cost to consistently always have infinite mana. Because right now I'm at 44 mana, and if I use everything, I'm looking at 12 mana cost, so I can use it. And I do regen 15 mana a second. However, in a map, there are tiny moments where I can't instantly use Caustic Arrow if I want to. That comes between not having the right pace to cast Caustic Arrow and having a big encounter like an Expedition or a Legion. So the mana setup isn't perfect yet, but it is 95% good enough. Alright, that much for the mana setup. There are some other skill changes that I did. Namely, I've now on 250% hours and Petrified Blood. I did manage that with the aforementioned small cluster with modifying aspect. Again, you can use grace, you can use haste, you can use determination, you can use malevolencia. I prefer using malevolencia and having temporary haste, because this gives me 11 chaos rest, enabling me to have a bit less chaos resistance pressure on my gear. Because we do want to be elemental resistance capped, chaos resistance capped, and still have a high movement speed. So there's a lot of stuff we want on our gear. For that, we just get resistances on gloves, rings, and amulet and quiver, as well as utilizing the Queen of the Forest, giving us resistances. But yeah. Another gem change that I should mention is using the momentum support. Personally, I'm a huge fan of it. If you have a level 20 momentum support, it really means 5 momentum, and you get, what is it, 5 times 15 is 60? No. 50, 75. Right now it's 60, but I can get up to 75 once it's a 2020 gem, and with 20 quality it lasts for 5 seconds. So you can see here, it is 5 seconds of swiftness, and that will be enough for in-map, with the frenzy taking about 1 second to reach it. Once I have, once I have my buffs up, it's basically instant that I get my swiftness. You can see there, it just jumps between 5 and 4. That means I have 1 second that I need to recharge it, and that is even without frenzy charges. So momentum, at least on a TR build or CA build, is very good, in my opinion. Other things that are to mention on the gem setup is that I'm using the totem as a secondary, just 5 totems for single target, and my main focus is my caustic arrow for my clear, so I can just run through a map, fire a few caustic arrows, and then while looting I might need to kill 1 or 2 rares or a few stragglers that I didn't catch with caustic arrow. But overall, very fast, very nice mapping style that I do like. Okay. Yeah. The quiver. Not quiver, the bow. The caustic, the Crucible Tree. Some mentionings here. You can get +1 to dex gems. This is the best outcome. Dex gems is our caustic arrow, our swift affliction, our vicious projectile, our void manipulation, our arrow nova, all which we can get awakened versions later on. So they do get affected by the +1 level quite nicely. So this is a good thing to have, because if we have +1 to dex, +1 to socketed, and +2 to support gems, a level 1 awakened gem instantly gives us a level 5 bonus, and after that is just more damage. So really nice to have if you can get a +1 to dex. Other things you can get are some notables like Deadly Draw for damage over time, or you can get attack speed that is then base attack speed, so it affects better by other increases of attack speed, which is also a nice thing to have. The one thing I need to mention here is you can technically get an Empower. However, as far as I understood how it works, the Empower that you get granted from this is not getting affected by the socketed support gems because it isn't socketed. So this means that your Empower that you can get is at most level 3, where if you place an Empower you can get up to level 5 or level 4 Empower based on budget, or just a level 3 early on, and then get a +3 on that, which is going to be better than a +3 normal Empower and an efficiency. So we do not want to get Empower on the bow because we want to get it on a gem, so it's affected by the +2 socketed gems. Hopefully that did make sense. If you're on an early stage and you find a really good bow that has like +1, +2 to bow gems and an Empower on the tree, and you're just starting out, that is perfect, of course. But on a proper bow, or what I call the GG bow, you do not want to have that Empower on the tree. You have wanted on the gem. It should be all important mentionings. I'm testing out right now the more chaos damage to enemies that have energy shield, because any big boss has a tiny energy shield layer usually, so that is 10% more damage against the important targets. But otherwise, that I think were all the things. So the few wanting to mention potential upgrades. We need 45k evasion. We get it with our flask, with our Queen of the Forest, and having Onslaught with the boots. Probably, if doable, we would want to get to 45k evasion without 3-step assaults, so that we can get boots that have avoidance to lightning, on the implicit, high movement speed, high life, and then potential resistance or stats, and then use the Storm Shroud Jewel to get elemental avoidance. On top of, by getting the lightning avoidance is equal to all elemental avoidance, or all elemental avoidance is equal to lightning avoidance. So we don't, so we have elemental immunity on, and then can keep the Queen of the Forest movement speed. That would be the ideal outcome. The other thing that we want to upgrade out of is eventually we want to not use the Vertex anymore. By using a Divergent Divine Blessing and a Divergent Inspiration support, we should not need the Vertex in later stages, so we can upgrade to a rare helmet that has life, resistances, stats, and then maybe even the reservation efficiency, so we don't need the cluster anymore, or has the Elder modifier to have minus Chaos Rest to nearby, or was it Hunter? Anyway, we can upgrade to a rare helmet, or we can upgrade to a Gull and get the shrines, having, I think, every other map a movement speed shrine, and otherwise the resistances and defense shrines, which are nice. There are just so we have an open helmet spot to have a better helm for our build. But that's the two big upgrades. Then of course we can also get a double dot quiver, we can get awaken gems, we can get dot multi, +1 to chaos gems or +2 to our gems by getting +1 to all and +1 to chaos. There are a few things we can get and upgrades on this department. Of course we can get better rings, but then we just get better versions of the item. So big upgrade would be getting off the unique on the boots and getting off the unique on the helmet, getting avoidance in, getting more life in, because right now we are barely at 4k, we want to prefer be at 4.5k high life, and then of course the awaken gems, and we are good to go. And yeah, I think that's basically all the changes, all the updates we can do to the character. So I'm going to say, oh, have a wonderful day, hopefully an awesome league. And now I'm going to let the mapping footage run, and you can convince yourself if you like the mapping playstyle of this build. All that being said, have a wonderful day, goodbye.